Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day, off to a great start, are Nina Dow, Nolan Gear, and Nora Ledford. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really do appreciate it. So thank you again so much. And if you want to be house guest of the day like the N team, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so we all know that September 11th is a very somber day in America. I cannot believe it's been 18 years. But it also happens to be my sister's birthday, so I want to wish Kristen a very happy birthday. The house guests did have a little memorial service for September 11th, which we will talk about in a bit. But yeah, we will never ever forget what happened on that day. I'm trying to, it still hits me hard every year. It's just like terrifying still, and very upsetting. But anyway, never forget. So when we left off yesterday, let's talk about some trash TV to kind of, you know. Okay. When we left off yesterday, it's still Holly versus Tommy on the block. So while Holly and Jackson try to hold their showmance together with a shower sex band-aid, Tommy is making game moves to secure his safety. So he already teased Cliff and Nicole. It was like he put out a little trailer for the movie that's to come soon. He teased to Cliff and Nicole that he will be officially offering to throw the final 4 HOH to them, so one of them will be guaranteed a spot in the final 3, and then he's gonna fight really hard for that power veto, and he will be targeting Jackson. So they were pretty into that proposal, even though it hasn't like officially been offered yet. So every day it seems like Cliff is leaning more and more towards keeping Tommy. And we know Nicole has been on board with this all week and pushing for it. She's the one that's really trying to make this happen here. So the house guests are pretty bored at this point. They're trying to keep busy. So they were doing some origami. They were dyeing eggs, hiding eggs, and they had a little Easter egg hunt. So each of them hid 5 eggs for a total of 25. And they put on their Big Brother Comics outfits, BB Comics. Oh, why do I always say that? They put on their BB Comics outfits and went to look for the eggs around the house. So they were doing this for a while. They didn't find all of them. So then the hiders had to go and retrieve the ones that weren't found, because you don't want a bunch of, these are real eggs. These are not like plastic eggs that you use on Easter and put candy in. These are real eggs. You don't want them laying around the house and going bad. So anyway, before the egg hunt officially ended, Tommy and Holly were together in the Target bedroom. They decided to take a break from the hunt, have a little chat. So Tommy says he just can't wait for this to be done. He's just so tired. So part of him wants to tell Cliff and Nicole about him knowing Chrissy before the show, because he had only told Jackson and Holly about it. And he's debating. He's like, should I or should I not? He says he doesn't like keeping secrets. It's just not him. I mean, he did a pretty good job of it all season. But anyway, they both feel like they've hit a wall psychologically. Tommy says whatever's meant to happen will happen. They hate that they're up on the block against each other, but it is what it is. They both say that they're going to campaign this week. I guess they're limiting it to like campaign Wednesday. I mean, Tommy has pretty much already put out there what he will be officially campaigning, so I would consider that campaigning. But they're acting like they're both gonna only be campaigning on Wednesday. Holly, yeah, pretty much. But they agree they're gonna do it in a clean way, which makes me wonder. I feel like everybody's always saying, I'm gonna campaign in a clean way, I'm not gonna run a dirty campaign. What do you guys consider a dirty campaign at this point? I'm really curious. Please leave it in the comments. For me, I guess I would say a dirty campaign would be like if you make up a lie about someone. I'm not against it in the game. I think it's really interesting and it's cool to see if it actually works or not. A lot of people are like, no dirty campaigning, but as an outsider looking in, I love to see a dirty campaign sometimes. So anyway, Something like that. I mean, if it's game related. I guess a really nasty campaign would be attacking someone on a personal level, but I feel like we haven't seen that in a really long time. So anyway, back to Tommy's secret. He says that he trusts Jackson and Holly, but it makes him nervous that some people, the two of them, know about his secret and some don't. Translation, I'm worried that you're going to use it against me in your campaign. So, yeah, he wants Cliff and Nicole to know his secret so that they can make a fair decision, and it's not like he's trying to bamboozle them or something. They'll have all of the information that they need to make their decision. He doesn't really know how they're going to react to the news or if it's going to change their vote, but he says he would rather be the guy that maybe lost $500,000 for spilling a secret prematurely than a guy that lies. So he's pretty sure he's gonna tell them tomorrow, meaning Wednesday. I really don't think it's gonna affect their decision at this point. Christy's not even in the game anymore. Is it really that big of a deal? So then the house guests had their traditional Taco Tuesday dinner. It was uneventful. We didn't have any manifest the truth, bruh. I think that's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So then Holly and Jackson were whispering in the storage room, and Holly says that Tommy is planning on telling Cliff and Nicole about him knowing Christy. He's going to tell them in his campaign to them. And Jackson says, oh, that's good. You know, that's good for us. And Holly says, is it? If they want to flip and backdoor me, they could use that as an excuse. If I have to hear Holly say one more time that she might get backdoored this week, I'm going to scream. You're not getting backdoored! Oh my god, that's not what a backdoor is! So, I'm sorry. She has more of a chance of getting backdoored by Jackson than she does by Cliff and Nicole. Okay? Like, that's... Stop. So, Jackson says it wouldn't make sense for them to keep Tommy after they find out his secret, because that means that Tommy would have Christy's vote in his back pocket if he makes it to the end, and she's going to campaign for him in the jury house. So they should not want to keep him after they hear that. So Holly's like, oh yeah, you're right. So she's going to use that in her campaign against Tommy. So then Holly's like, well, do you think that you should say something to Cliff and Nicole ahead of time? And like let them know that Tommy's gonna drop a bomb, and like don't say what it is, but say that he told us something before the veto thinking that it might sway us if, say, Jackson or Holly were to win the veto. And Jackson says, no, I don't think that's a good idea, because then it's gonna look like we keep things from them. I mean, you did. Holly says it wasn't our secret to tell, and we can tell them that. So at this point, they do not know how to talk to Cliff and Nicole about the vote. It's like they don't even know these people. You're supposed to be in a Final Four with them. I think it's well within reason to just check in with them at least once a day and be like, are we still good on the vote? Are we still good? But they don't want to be pushy, but they also don't want to be too negligent. Too late. So Holly is kind of scared because she feels like Cliff is acting weird with her, and she's scared because Tommy said he's going to be campaigning hard, and if he's going to be doing that, then he must feel like there's hope, or he wouldn't even bother. So Holly says, I don't know why he feels like there's hope. Maybe because he's been playing the game this week and making moves, unlike you. I don't know. So later, Holly and Jackson were in the bathroom area with Cliff, and Jackson's like, Cliff, come here. And he says, Tommy is more than likely gonna drop a bomb of info about him and someone who's no longer in the house. And he told us, but it's his personal life, so it wasn't really our secret to share. But we'll tell you this days after it happened. So then, anyway, Jackson says the way that Tommy said it and when he delivered it, it was right before the veto comp, and it was almost as if he expected me to win, and he wanted me, you know, he was trying to use this to get back in our good graces. can you really blame him though? Like, what else is he supposed to do? So Jackson says, if Tommy doesn't end up telling you guys, I will tell you on Thursday, you know, assuming everything goes according to plan, meaning Holly stays and Tommy goes. So then Cliff says, yeah, Tommy told me that he wants to campaign to me on Wednesday night, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna listen to him. Ugh. And Jackson is like, he brings it back to Tommy's secret, and he says, it's interesting. It's just really interesting. And Cliff asks, does it have to do with Christy? Yeah, okay, so like obviously Cliff knows what's up, because don't forget, Cliff was one of the few people that was out in the backyard when somebody played that message about Tommy and Christy knowing each other over a loudspeaker. So yeah, Cliff was one of the few people that heard that. He already has this on his radar. It just hadn't been confirmed to him yet. So Cliff says, I'm just curious to see what Tommy says in his campaign. You know, I'm really curious to see what he's gonna say. He knows what Tommy's gonna say. So then Holly is like, oh, I didn't want to seem complacent this week, but I also didn't want to be all paranoid like Kat when she was on the block, but she lets Cliff know that tomorrow she will also be campaigning. Cool. Okay, so after, Jackson and Holly look like they've just seen a ghost. They did not like that response from Cliff. First of all, I feel like they thought that Cliff was going to be shocked about Tommy and Christy knowing each other. Because like they didn't say it to Cliff, but obviously he knew what they were talking about. So they were a little bit shook by that. Also, Cliff wasn't exactly saying like, you're good, don't worry. So Holly says, I'm done. Did you even start? Jackson says, do not say that. You don't say that you're done. And Holly's like, well, I don't like that Cliff said that he's gonna vote with Nicole and that Nicole's been talking to Tommy a lot. Like, that makes me really nervous. And Jackson doesn't like that Cliff didn't reassure them. He could have just been like, Final Four, you know, you're staying, Holly. So Holly's like, should I have been campaigning harder all week? I'm sorry, but even if you're in a Final Four with someone, you better freaking be checking in with them at least once a day and just saying, are we good? You're gonna keep me, right? Like, I know this is silly because we're in a Final Four, but nothing's changed, right? And the funny thing is, if they had gone to Cliff and Nicole and asked them that over the last few days, I'm pretty sure Cliff and Nicole would have said, I'm waiting to hear both of your campaigns. Because that's what they're saying now, and that's what they were saying a few days ago when they were talking about, whoa, Holly and Jackson haven't really like approached us yet about the vote. What's going on here? So I think they would have gotten the clue earlier that things are not quite right here for that Final Four. So Jackson says, Holly, you need to talk to Cliff one-on-one, really push our Final Four, and make sure that he's locked in, because this is concerning. So then the house guests took the time to set up a 9/11 memorial in the living room. They covered the coffee table with this like navy blue tablecloth. They wrote out 9/11 we remember in cereal. And they also had the American flag on the table and some sunflowers. It was a really nice tribute, I think. And they will do another like memorial service in a bit. Okay, so later, Holly checks in with Nicole. She's freaking out now because she knows that something's up. So Holly says, I want you to know I haven't been complacent this week, but I also didn't want to be paranoid like Kat. Okay. Nicole says, no, I wouldn't think that about any of us at this point. You know, there's only 5 people left. We all want to be here, blah, blah, blah. And Nicole says, I think we are still good, but I do want to hear your campaign. I want to hear Tommy's campaign. So Holly is like, oh yeah, you should definitely listen to what Tommy has to say. But like, I pray that we're still good. This means so much to me. Does it? So they talk for a while, but it's not really like game stuff. Alright, so meanwhile, Cliff and Jackson are chatting over some chess. Actually, no, they played their chess game, and then after it was over, Jackson asks, how's everything looking for the vote this week? And Cliff says, I don't know. So he says, Nicole is really looking at both ways here. She's been talking to Tommy a lot more than I have. It seems like they've gotten really close this week. And Cliff says, I don't know what kind of deals Tommy's offering, if he's offering any deals at all. You know what he's gonna offer. So he says, Nicole, I don't know, maybe she feels like she's the odd man out in a Final Four situation, meaning if they did get down to their Final Four, Nicole is worried that she would be 4th place, and Holly and Jackson would want to keep Cliff around, which I think they probably would. So, I mean, judging by last week anyway, or was that this week? No, oh my god, this week seems like months. No, that was this week when Jackson was saying if Tommy wins Power Veto, he wanted Nicole to be the one to go. But anyway, Cliff is telling Jackson, I want to see what Tommy says to me. And Jackson says, well, we didn't really talk about the vote with you guys at all because we thought it was set. So he asks Cliff, how do you feel about the vote? And Cliff says, I've really got mixed feelings here. I'm a little worried that Nicole and I might not be seeing eye to eye on this vote, but he would like to vote with Nicole. He doesn't want it to be a split vote here. So, he's putting all the blame on Nicole. I mean, Nicole is the one that was really pushing for Tommy to stay, but still it's like, damn. I mean, I can't blame Cliff because he's got to look out for his own game, but damn. In a way, though, if Nicole makes it to the end and she's getting all the credit for this right now, that is a big thing on her resume. So, Cliff is saying, I feel like Tommy, if we're at the end with him, he's going to pick Nicole over me, so that's not good. And he feels like he'd be pretty safe, and Jackson and Holly would take him over Nicole. So Jackson's like, I don't want to say too much, but I've already told you the kind of people that I want to be in the end with. So he's referring to a conversation that he had with them before about how he wants to go to the end with people who have really fought to be there. And he was implying that it was them and not Holly. So I think it's probably BS. I think obviously Jackson wants to go to the end with Holly. Definitely Final 3 because they'll take each other to the end. And then I feel like he thinks that he can beat Holly anyway. So I'm sure he'd want to go to the Final 2 with her as well. But Cliff is saying, in a way, he'd be worried if he was in the Final 3 with Jackson and Holly because they're going to choose each other. And Jackson says, yeah, I mean, I've had the same feeling about going to the end with you and Nicole. So Cliff says, I would rather go to the end with you and Nicole than Tommy and Nicole. Nope, he wants to go with Tommy. But it's interesting because a lot of the time in this conversation, it's like they're talking like Holly is already gone and Jackson is just trying to make sure that he stays over Tommy. I think he's starting to realize this is for real, and Holly, there's a really good chance that she's gonna be going. So Cliff basically says, like, Nicole and I are undecided right now. Gotta hear the campaigns, we'll see what happens. So then after this conversation, Cliff and Nicole are comparing notes. They're talking about their conversations with Jackson and Holly. And it appears that they're still leaning towards keeping Tommy. They want to vote together. And Cliff says to Nicole, like, yeah, I feel like I probably would be pretty much guaranteed to go to the Final 3 with Jackson and Holly. But I don't want to do that to you. And he says, we have a better chance for both of us to make the Final 2 together if we are with Tommy in the Final 3. So that's what he wants to do, and obviously Nicole is already on board. So they also talked about Tommy's secret, which he's supposed to be sharing with them today, Wednesday. They don't seem concerned about it because they're like, okay, so what if Tommy has a guaranteed vote in jury? If one of us was in the Final 2 and the other one wasn't, that would be a guaranteed vote for you. If Jackson and Holly, one of them was in the Final 2 and one was in jury, guaranteed vote. So they really are not concerned about it, which is hilarious because Holly is really planning on pushing that in her campaign. So anyway, Holly and Jackson were also comparing notes on the chats, and they are shooketh. They didn't even think that this was going to be a possibility this week. Oh my god. They have been way too comfortable for weeks now. So they're hoping that they can at least get Cliff's vote and force a tie based on his conversation with Jackson about how Cliff was saying, oh, I want to go to the end with you guys, blah, blah, blah. No. So they're planning on telling Cliff and really pushing with Cliff that they will take him to the end and that Tommy would pick Nicole over him, so it doesn't make sense for him to keep Tommy. And then they're going to tell Nicole that they're going to try and really downplay their showmance because they don't want Nicole to think, oh my god, I'm going to go out in 4th place. So they're going to say that they're playing as individuals and that they wouldn't want to take each other to the end. Okay. So Holly is saying she really wants the 4 of them to talk in a room, remind them that they shook on their final 4. You guys told us no funny business after the POV. Are you also going to mention how you didn't check in with them for days after that? Ah! So Holly's also saying, like, we kept them safe. You also voted Cliff out. Let's not forget that. So then this morning, the house guests asked Big Brother to wake them up early so that they could have a 9/11 memorial service. So BB woke them up before 6 a.m. They all gathered in the living room around their memorial that they made the night before. Big Brother gave them a big flag to set up. They all put on patriotic colors. So they had a moment of silence. They sang the Star Spangled Banner together. They were talking about their 9/11 experiences, where they were when it happened, how they felt, things like that. It was very touching. They all said a prayer together, and it was really a nice moment for them to share. So then after that, they went back to sleep for a while, and since they got up, they didn't like launch right into game talk yet. Tommy and Holly should be campaigning later today or tonight, whatever, and it should be fun. I'm interested to hear these campaigns, and tomorrow is eviction night, which should be even more fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Cliff and Nicole are really going to follow through and keep Tommy, or do you think Holly is going to be able to guilt them into sticking with the final 4? Let me know, and until tomorrow, much love.